Approximately 6 months ago, I downloaded Godot after a year of using Unity. And I decided to start a new project and to not create a different one until I released this game on Steam. And now, after many months, that game is almost ready. In case you haven't seen any of my previous devlogs, I'm working on a Survivors-like game inspired by Magic Survival, Vampire Survivors, and other similar games. But the main twist for my game is that you not only have to avoid and kill huge waves of enemies, you will also have to survive different events, and that's what I've been working on for the past few weeks. Up until now, I already designed the basics for the game, like player movement and enemy spawning. After that, I work on creating different and interesting enemies. And in the last video, I talked about the upgrade system for my game and the 10 base skills that are already implemented in the game. So I will leave the entire devlog series in the description in case you want to check it out. But as I said, these past few weeks I worked on different events that will occur during each playthrough. So how will these events work? Here's the basic idea. The base playthrough will last 20 minutes. And every 3 minutes, an event will happen which will last for 1 minute. These events won't affect the player directly, as that feels unfair, and I would personally get really mad if suddenly my damage was reduced or something like that. Instead, there will be environmental changes like spawning spikes, creating areas where the floor becomes slippery, filling the air with toxic fumes, and more. But don't worry, because I will explain each of these events in detail later. But that's not all, as there's an extra challenge. A mini boss will spawn when the third and last events start, so at minutes 11 and 20, with the game ending after you kill the last mini boss, which is why it won't spawn at minute 19. It's definitely not because I'm extremely bad at maths. The idea for the final game is to instead spawn a boss with these events, and these bosses will have unique attack patterns and will be extremely difficult to defeat. But I want them to feel really special, so I need some time to work on them, and I don't want to delay the demo anymore, because I want to get as much feedback as possible from you, so you should probably wishlist the game to access the demo as soon as it's ready. But let's talk about the events, since that is the main selling point for my game. Currently, there are 10 different events. In the first place, we have Meteor Shower. This is the first event that I ever implemented, and as you can probably imagine, when this event is activated, dozens of meteorites will fall around you, and you will have to dodge them as best as you can. But they may not be as bad after all, as they will also damage enemies and push them away from you. The second event is a classic, which is a size reduction for the arena. During this event, 4 laser walls will spawn around you, preventing you from leaving the area, while still allowing enemies to move freely. This will increase the challenge, especially during large hordes, so you will have to learn to position yourself or get an upgrade to help you, whether it's by granting you a shield or pushing the enemies away. Third, we have the vision reduction. While this is active, you will only be able to see in a small area around you, so you will have to be extra careful and remember where you drop those healing potions and where the main horde is in order to avoid it. Fourth, we have another classic, which are spikes. During this event, dozens of spikes will spawn in random positions, and you will have to avoid them while they are active, since otherwise you will start losing health really fast. The fifth event is quite similar, and you've also seen it many times before. I'm obviously talking about the moving saws. Just like with the spikes, if they touch you while they are active, you will lose health, and they will move horizontally, vertically, and diagonally. Making this sixth event made me wanna cry, as it will constantly break the game, and I still don't really know why. This event will spawn black holes around the arena that will increase in size and strength as the time passes. They can be used to trap enemies, getting them stuck at the center, but they may also trap you if you're not careful. The 7th and 8th events are connected because they are the like and subscribe. They are connected because both of them will spawn a toxic gas that will damage the player, but the way to avoid this damage is different for each of them. For the 7th event, you will have to stay inside safe areas, and leaving them will trigger a 3-second timer, hurting the player if it reaches 0. Meanwhile, for the 8th event, there are no safe areas, and instead the player will be forced to pick up the antidotes that will spawn around them. And if you fail to do so, then you will also start losing health. The 9th event will also spawn areas, but in this case they are covered in ice, making both the player and the grounded enemies sleep while walking on them. Just like with the black holes, you can use it to get rid of big hordes following you. But that may not be the best idea if there are flying creatures trying to hunt you down. And last but not least, we have the lasers. During this event, lasers will spawn and shoot across the entire arena, dealing damage to both the player and the enemies. These lasers come in 3 different patterns: horizontal, vertical, and mixed, and this pattern will be chosen randomly. Please let me know which is your favorite in the comments, and if you have any ideas for possible events, I would also love to read them. Now that we talked about the first 10 events for my game, which will hopefully be the first of many to come, we can talk about the mini-bosses that will spawn with them. These mini-bosses are just stronger versions of the existing enemies, and each will have specific events attached so that they suppose an even greater challenge. And these mini-bosses are the giant bull, just like the basic bull that you can find more about in my second devlog. This enemy will walk slowly towards you, but don't be fooled by its slow pace, because every few seconds it will stop to then charge at you with incredible speed. However, the giant bull has a weakness, as it struggles to turn. This means that if you can time your movements correctly, you can dodge this enemy quite easily and avoid getting hit, but you will have to be alert. Our second mini-boss is the giant bat, which is like the bat but, well, bigger. My idea is for it to not be too strong and to spawn a bunch of them at the same time. I will have to find the perfect number, but you will probably need to handle 3 to 5 extremely fast giant bats. And the last mini-boss for now is the giant. Kinda redundant, I know. This enemy is extremely slow, but it has huge amounts of health. It's quite simple, but doesn't he look cute with that helmet? I seriously think that he deserves a like. As I create more and more enemies, I will obviously create different mini-boss versions of them, while the bosses will be more unique and properly designed. I already designed 4 more enemies, and hopefully they will be all ready for the full release in October. Oh, you're still here? Well, if you haven't done it already, you should wishlist my game and check my previous devlogs. And if you already did, then you can check my tutorial series. See ya!